crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
The penetrator. Now, come on, look, because I always went the farthest into the target, goddammit. Libya, Tunisia, Lebanon, it was me, pal. I was always first in, last out.
This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. It'll fight if it has to, but it's vulnerable out in the open.
Its blood was on the leaves.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Oh my God, there's two of them. Good morning, Valhalla! He's the mad doctor, Ortega outlaw! Badass! Roll Tide, Kiwi Chow, Roll Tide, brother. He's the angriest wrench in Valhalla, Mark the infinitely tired. Shellback, TJC. Mephisto's movie reviews. Time to wake the neighbors' boys with Southern Viking. Baby, it's cold outside with P-Line. Gary Badger Sandwich Worthington. Positive Pender. Jay Roberts knows how freaking cold outside it is. The wrench of wrenches, Chris Persia. The wicked wrench of the East Project story time. James Dasher. Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Zero Hour here on Mornings of Mischief. I'm your host, Stone Loki. Good morning, everybody. I hope you are staying warm and doing something excellent today. And starting your day off right here on Mornings of Mischief is something excellent. So thank you very much. I would like to welcome my co-host here. Oh my God, there's two of them. You may know him. He's from a little tiny place called Canada, Zeropium. How are you doing, my friend? You staying warm?
Woo! Good morning, Loki. Good morning to the chilly chat. It is cold, y'all. We've officially hit the cold streak up here north of the border. It is frigid. Hey, you know what? Real quick, speaking of streaks, I got to get this out in the open because for those of you that saw what happened last night, let me tell you what a streak of 16 wins at home gets you. A 48-32 ass whipping by my own Green Bay Cheesehead Packers. Holy crap. That's America's team. That's America's team. You let us come into your house and embarrass you on both sides of the ball and do exactly what people predicted you were going to do. Be a one and done playoff team. Good luck to y'all. Woo!
Oh, well, I don't have any idea what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, the Cowboys just embarrassed themselves last night. And you know what? For all you naysayers out there, let me just have this moment. because I know all roads are going to go through San Francisco on my side of the ball, and that's where my glory story will end.
Wait.
So
So
let me
Green
have
Bay
this.
lost or
No,
the
no.
Cowboys lost?
The Cowboys lost. Green Bay came into their house and annihilated them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah,
It's
so
foosball.
I'm sorry, but let me just enjoy that moment. And I know it's not so much the pack; it was more the Cowboys just exposing themselves yet again. So yeah, it's that. And
The
yeah,
Lions are there.
yeah, for the first time in 30 years, the Lions have won a playoff game.
Well, I hope the Lions pull one out and win. There you go.
Wow.
Mark's got it. I don't
Wow.
like. I'm not big on foosball. I don't really give a shit anymore. But go Lions. There you go.
So yeah, real crazy NFL playoff wild card weekend. But that was then. This is not then. Rolling on. Here we go.
After the call on Detroit, anyone can win as long as Cowboys lose.
Yeah, well, I still feel bad for that. The referees, bang up job. Robbing Detroit. But hey, you know what? Yeah, Cowboys gonna call it Cowboy Project. You got it. You got it. Exposed yet again. So hey, congratulations to the Lions. I know as fellow NFC
They were
North
undefeated.
Rivals, they were undefeated at home. Yeah.
This season.
Yes. Or for the last, I don't know how long the streak was going, but they 16 times in a row they won at home. But yeah, that all amounts to nothing more than a one and done playoff appearance again. So yeah, the internet was afire last night with all the Cowboy hate and shit like that. But it was crazy weekend.
When a Canadian says it's cold, then you know it's cold. It's so cold the Canadians are using moose to keep warm. I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Oh, you know, I can't attest to that personally. I've never been inside of a moose. Wow, that sounds really gross now that I've just said it out loud. I've ate moose before. It's not
You
bad.
ate
Yes, cooked moose meat.
yeah, that didn't sound like what you wanted to sound like after you said you'd never been in a moose before.
It's
because you said I'd never been in a moose, but I've eaten a moose, and I'm like,
I know what I said. God damn it!
No,
Free
no.
the slaves,
Okay.
you son of a bitch.
Okay.
So
All right.
anyway, bottom line, yeah, it's cold. So hey, folks, I know I don't know
My
how
co-host does not know what he says.
I know exactly what I said. It's just up to everyone to interpret it how they want. But hey, you know what?
You did Wendy. Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
There you go. You ate Wendy.
Thanks,
All right.
Adega. You know what? I used to like you. Now I'm not liking you for the next 4.5 minutes. So anyway, yeah, if you are getting chilled in your neck of the woods, wherever you might be, do whatever you can to stay warm, and we'll all get through this together.
Minus 16 and minus 28 with the wind chill. Screw that. Guys, stay safe. Stay safe. Be excellent to each other. No, this is not the end of the show.
Show's over. Good night.
Do something great today.
Yeah, have some fun.
Okay, you got time. Do something great today. Make a video about something.
Yeah.
Go encourage someone to keep at it, to attaboy or something. Mike does that all the time. Our Mexican Iron Man here. It's getting so cold on Hilton Head Island. Oh my God, today might be as low as 68 degrees. Oh no.
Oh no.
Mike got to have time to attaboy everybody on the internet for the good job they're doing and the drama they are causing. Yes.
Hell yeah. And you know what? If you're listening right now, Mexican Iron Man, which I know you are, hopefully. I know, like I said, our road is going through you next week at your house. So hey, you know what? Good luck to you, buddy. May the best team win. And hey, thanks for not embarrassing us too much on your home field.
-4 here, not bad. Yeah, I'm in the 20s.
Yeah, we're in negative double digits around here, so it's cold, y'all.
We'll be in single digits tomorrow. That'll be fun. Yay.
Yay. All right.
So,
woo.
Yay. So let's get to it. Let's get to the topic. Let's get to what we're talking about today. Huge thank you to everybody here and everybody over on the Rumbles. Chris Persia's over on Rumble. Grumpy Old Marine Bit is over on Rumble. Darth Arlena says good morning, Valhalla, over on Rumble. Thank you guys so very much for being here. Loki, Zero likes his ladies sturdy. No hate. Okay.
What's what for curiosity and anecdotal purposes, explain your definition of sturdy.
It means they have a big base.
Well, I'm all about that base, Oh my god, I can't believe I just did that. I'll show myself out. Good night. It's
Oh
free
yeah,
here.
yeah. Arwen's staying warm by drinking box wine and wearing her winter coat made from cats.
I do declare I'm getting the vapors.
Dinner for wolf.
Oh my god. A fur coat made from cats. Is that true?
Who are you? I'm Owen, thief and cat wrangler.
Oh my god.
I am from Cat Town, the Order of Curlet.
Oh god, that's crazy.
Dinner for cat.
Dinner for, my god, big base, no tipping over. You know what? That's true. That's
Dinner
true.
for cat, y'all.
Dinner for cat, y'all. Oh my god. I still smell bacon, but I'm in the mood for some vapors and cat.
That mic doesn't just jump through glass, but frozen ice on the window too. Oh, that makes sense.
Ooh. Double duty there.
Yeah. Lots of duty. Anyway, let's get to this. So I've got a confession to make.
Tell us your sins, my son.
I have not always been known as Loki or Stone Loki. If you go back far enough, you will find a modder that worked mainly with Star Trek games called 9 of 9. I worked on pretty much every Star Trek game I could think of in the modding community. I did a lot of reprogramming and textures. What does reprogramming and textures mean? That means that if you had on a ship like something on Birth of the Federation that looked like CAC, let's say you had a Nebula class starship that looked like CAC and could only fire torpedoes and didn't have any phaser rays. I went in and made it look better and gave it phaser rays and all kinds of other goodies that were really cool that I liked. And then I did it to all the other ships. And then when my game wouldn't work anymore because it would not run on anything besides epping Windows 95, I went in and figured out how to make it work on a modern system. This was a pain in the ass. But you know what? I'm a nerd. I like computer things. I like programming. I like going in and seeing what does what. On Star Trek Bridge Commander, nothing worked right. And they said you will never get a Galaxy class starship to MBAM ever. And you know what? We did it and we figured out a way. I wasn't alone, but we did it. We figured out a way. How did we do that?
Loki finds a way.
Just spawning. We spawned the ship. We spawned 2 ships in and made it look like they were separating. We didn't actually separate the ship. We just removed the ship you had and spawned 2 ships in and made it look like they were separating. And that fixed it. It was that easy. It's that easy. A lot of these games don't work on current day systems. They don't want it to work because they want to resell you something. Or they don't have the rights to it and they don't care and it's abandonware. And if it's abandonware, you can do anything you want to it. Not anymore. Not anymore. Because there is a dreadful company out there that has been contacting Capcom, that has been contacting 2K, saying we can make it to where no one can ever mess with your game ever again. How does this work? How does this work? They can't, number one, they can't go into active memory and scan anything. Number 2, this program takes over your entire computer while it is active. What does that mean, Loki? That means that if you launch WWE 2K23, that when it's running, it controls everything your computer does. It has complete control over all your settings. It has complete control over all your apps. It has complete control over your internet. You are giving away all of your control for your system, for your internet, for your search history, for the apps that are on your computer when you agree to the TOS. How can they do that, Loki? It's in the TOS.
Mhm.
It's in the TOS you agreed to when you played the game.
Simple as that.
But Loki, what can they do? What can it really do? Well, guess what? On Steam, I lost all access to WWE 2K23, a game that cost $120 freaking dollars with all the bonus content and the extra wrestlers and all that crap, because I had an app that program didn't like on my computer. But wait a minute, Loki, how is that possible? Well, this is how it worked. I had the game and the game was fine. I played the game a couple of times. I like manager mode. Who doesn't like manager mode where you can go in and you like control everything? You control what stadium you're in. You control what popcorn people get. You control blah, 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 blah. You basically are the GM for the entire show, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there and the game had updated recently. And I had no idea what it did. But I noticed that my system was running a little hotter, and I was like, "What the hell is going on? Why is it? I mean, maybe it's time to change the water in Sparta, to swap the things out. Maybe it's getting a little old. She's getting a little old. She's almost 4 years old. Yeah, Loki is Vince McMahon. I love that. I love doing that. I love playing like that.
Without the
Okay.
Gomez mustache and
Yep,
crazy,
yeah.
crazy mentality.
Old late 90s Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
How about that? You're fired!
Fire!
Right. So I'm sitting there playing it when the game just shuts down. And I've talked to Dega and Makini about this because I couldn't believe it when this happened. The game just shuts down and it opens a web page. And I see it's a 2K web page, and I'm thinking, oh, it wants me to do one of those error report things or something. So I just close it. I didn't even read it. I didn't even look at it. I didn't even read it. I go to start the game again, and it dumps me directly back to that page. This time, Loki's curious. This time, Loki's going, why did it just immediately crash and send me to this page? Well, I broke their terms of service by having an app. By having an app they didn't like on my computer. And what did they do? They banned my account. I am now blacklisted. My account is now blacklisted for 2K whatever, 2K games, 2K sports. And my CD key has been removed from Steam. I am going through Steam, and if they don't want to play ball and give me a refund for the exact total of what I spent on the game for having an app the game didn't like on my computer, I will go to further links because I'm not going to sit on my hands and just take it. We don't take a knee here in Valhalla, so you ought to damn well know Loki's not going to take a knee on this. I had an app. It wasn't active. It wasn't running. They scanned my computer. And at first I was like, they did that without my permission. Well, it's in the TOS. They can scan your hard drives. They can scan your internet history. They can scan whatever they want to while the game is active. You know what that means? That means that they're looking at where you've been going. They look at what websites you shop at. They look at what games you purchased. They look at how you vote. They look at what you watch. They are looking at everything behind the scenes while you are playing their game. They are essentially spying on you. I am fighting it. Pacific 414. I am, brother. I am. Have no crazy doubt about that. I'm fighting it. They can look at and scan whatever they want to and have your data and sell your data. It's an app called Aurora, Grim. It's an app called Aurora. That's the app it doesn't like. And that's the app that it went shit based on, because you can manipulate data in their game with Aurora. You can manipulate things with their game with Aurora. I told you I used to mod. That's why we started with this wonderful little story about how Loki liked to mod back in the day. They have no right to tell you what you can and you can't do with your own game that you bought. But do you own that game? No, you don't. Just like everything else, it's smoke and mirrors. Just like every app out there that says, "Oh, buy this movie, and you'll own it forever. Own it forever on digital. Own it forever on Amazon."
You'll own it forever as long as they deem you can. I mean, it's the golden rule nowadays, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's plain simple English. If you English,
can you speak
English.
it? Can you speak
Can
it?
you speak it? It's a plain simple fact, ladies and gentlemen. If you purchase anything digitally and store it somewhere digitally, it is not fully yours, and it never will be.
No, it's not. It's not yours. You don't own it. And the same goes for games. I am fighting it. We are going to fight it. But there's something else that's going on here. That's not just 2K games. It's Capcom too.
Oh God, not Crapcom again.
It's
Hey,
Capcom
who wants to come over and play some 1943 Battle Over Midway? They ain't touching that.
Oh, they are.
Oh, they won't. They
did.
ain't touching my hard copy.
So if you own any of the Capcom collections or the arcade collections or the arcade stadiums or any of this stuff that is currently being sold by Capcom, they're going back and updating these games. And guess who they're going through?
Wild guess. Anyone?
The same company that is doing the work for 2K games. The Enigma Protector. A wide range of unique features aimed at protecting executable files from illegal copying, hacking, modification, and analysis. The supported formats include almost all types of 32 and 64-bit executables: EXE, SRC, DLO, OCX, BPL, etc., and .NET files created using various development tools such as MS Visual Studios, blah, 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 for all fucking versions of Windows: 95, 98, ME, 2000, XP, 2003, Vista, 2008, 7, 2012, 8, 110, and Windows 11. The Enigma Protector will make your software resistant to cracking and thus will increase your sales. The use of attack-proof crypto
English
crypto algorithms for registration key generation will make it impossible for others to reconstruct or reproduce the registration key generator for your software. Various methods of code obfuscation, mutation, and virtualization will help you protect your application from hacking, modifying, disassembling, illegal retrieval of unique functions and data. What does this mean? What does all this gobbledygook mean? I'm gonna it is because it's gobbledygook. Let's see.
That's why they're using big words.
Here we go. We're gonna go out. There we go. Right there. What does all this shit mean? Okay, so back in 2015, 2016, I got a hankering to play Star Trek Birth of the Federation, which I used to play all the time. I used to play this game all the time. I wore that CD out. I had to find a hacked copy that I could install my mod in so I could play it the way I wanted to play it. And eventually I did. I found it. What this means is not only can you not mod a game, but you can't do workarounds and you can't change anything internally. That means that if you want to change, like if you want to go in manually, if you know how to go in manually with Notepad and change game settings in the back end, what I call going around in the back door, that means you can't do any of that.
That's the moment where the back door is a good thing.
You can't do any of that. Remember how many people had to kind of hack their way into making Batman Arkham Knight workable? They had to go in and change a whole bunch of shit and turn shit on because it wasn't turning on, and activate things in the engine of the game. You can't do any of that because any tampering whatsoever immediately invalidates that, and they just write over it. So they're like, nope. Or they take your product key away from you, which is what 2K Games did to me with my WWE game. They take your CD key away from you, your product key, and you no longer have access to the game, or you get banned. You get banned completely. I'm just not going to buy a 2K game ever again. Your email gets banned, and they won't let you play. That mods also serve as quality of life fixes for a broken game. It's absolutely correct. That's what I was just talking about. Arkham Knight completely broken out its ass. Arkham Knight didn't work. How many people have you seen mod Skyrim? Imagine all of that gone. Only approved Bethesda mods will be archived and will be made active for players. Nothing else will work because you don't have access to change anything. And if you do, you will be removed. They will just take their game away from you and say, sorry, you should have looked at the TOS. Now you can't do shit.
Darn.
How many times, Zero, have you bought something on PC instead of on console because you want to tinker with it?
Well, I mean, for me personally, I mean, I know you name drop Skyrim, and personally, I don't think, I mean, like you hit a keyword there, some keywords, Bethesda approved mods, because I know at this point, since they've found a way to heavily monotonize the process of modding said Skyrim game, they've made a way to make a business out of it. So they would never, of course, obviously get rid of mods because it makes them more money. But that being said, I downloaded Skyrim on PC because I wanted the preferred way to play it. Mouse and keyboard to me are a lot more accurate. And of course, the other, 65 to 70% of that reason is great. Now, rubs my hands together. Can you hear that? Now I can start to tinker with mods. Now there's a whole new world opening up for me there. So that's the process. And the caveat of that is, yeah, I don't have a physical copy of it per se for PC anyway. So that's the drawback. But it's like, okay, well, it'll even itself out because now I can mod the shit out of this. But there's pros and cons to every step of that.
Dash Attack throws in a $4.99 super chat. Good morning, my friend. Says, didn't do video, but would have called it Modders versus Capcom. Dragon Dogma 2 will suffer for this controversy, and I know people waited for it. I'm not going to buy anything from Capcom. Plain and simple. You guys do not understand how insidious this licensing system is and how much extra work it is going to put on your hardware. What does this do? Thank you again, Dash Stack, for that $4.99 super chat. You guys can keep the fires burning bright here in Valhalla, and this one is just for you, my friend. Skull! So what exactly does this do? Not only does it use encryption up to 4096 bits of encryption to encrypt the registration key that you use to activate and run your game, but it dials home to mama every single time you turn on the game. What do you mean, Loki? It dials home to mama. It dials home to its home base, wherever that may be, whether it's through this company or through the company you're dealing with, and says, hello there, I'm calling to check and make sure all of these files are correct. And the home base goes, yes, all of those files are correct. Proceed with playing the game. Can you cheat this and confuse it and make it do something that it shouldn't? It's going to take years per game. It's not something that you're going to be able to do overnight. It's not something that you're going to be able to do next week. It's not something you're going to be able to do a month from now or a year from now. We are talking years from now. There is a possibility they might figure out a way to trick it, but that's going to be per game. Per game.
Yeah. Also, I need to correct myself because I think when I was talking about Bethesda keeping their mods financially viable, I used the word monotonize. I meant monetize.
Monetize.
But hey, you know what? Sometimes modding Skyrim is a bit monotonous, so forgive me there.
A $5 super chat from Mahogany Draw says Capcom is looking down the barrel of a major financial disaster if their current and future titles has Enigma DRM with serious potential malware. They are going back and doing this to all of their previous games. What do you mean, Loki? It means the Resident Evil modding community is going to die. It's dead. They're going back and they are doing this with all their games. They did it with Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. They've done it with the Capcom Stadium, both Capcom Stadium games, where you can't mod that, so you can't add extra games into it. So let's say you want to make like a real modded arcade that has a whole bunch of arcade games in it that, like, let's say you wanted to add Mortal Kombat to Capcom Arcade Stadium. You can't do it anymore.
No.
You can't do it because it's going to scan every file of the game and say, okay, this is all good. And it'll call home base and say, okay, it's all good. And home base will say, okay, but it doesn't stop there. It continues to scan and continues to call home to mama, wherever mama is. Mama, I'm coming home every single time. Exactly, Grim. Exactly, while you were playing the game. So it's calling home, it's talking to mama, it's going back and forth, and it's continually scanning your computer, scanning your drive, putting more work on your system as you play the game. Unacceptable. Your DRM is invasive, it's intrusive, and it's unacceptable. And I will not pay one more dime to Capcom as long as they continue to use this DRM.
Well,
Plain,
I guess
simple. That's it.
I guess you're not buying any more Capcom games. I mean, unless there's like a giant mass exodus of people just coming out in droves, running for the hills from this yada yada bull jive. I don't know, man.
I can already tell you that my Street Fighter Anniversary Collection is going to have to be uninstalled, cleaned, and then reinstalled. Why, Loki? Because they screwed up with Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Street Fighter 2 Turbo is broken. It is on like you're gonna die in a single fight mode. I am really effing good at Street Fighter. And the AI is turned up to like 50. Okay. If there were 10 levels of difficulty, it's at 50. Why? Because they screwed up. There's a line of code in the game that they screwed up. And no matter what you do on the difficulty scaling doesn't work. So anytime you fool around with it, it just makes the game harder. And that's just with that one Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Why isn't going to work, Loki? Because their Japanese version of that game has the problem fixed.
Mhm.
So if you bought the game in Japan, you have access to the Japanese and international versions. Aha. We don't in America. We just have access to the international versions. So they never patched it for us, but they fixed it in Japan for their customers. So what did I do? I got a update. I got a manual update that you can do on your own to give you the patch that's in the Japanese version. Does this also give you access to the Japanese games? Yes, it does, with the international versions, which we should have anyway. It should have been given to us anyway. They didn't do that. I don't know why they didn't do that. They didn't do that because they're morons. Mahogany, thank you so much for that $5 super chat. You guys keep the fires burning bright here on Valhalla, and this one is just for you, my friend. Skull! We need all be throwing spears at Capcom this morning, like that Rohirrim horseman. Gun Bunny, who's been a member for 25 months. Thank you so much, Gun Bunny. Mods make vanilla games interesting again. That's right.
They do. Yeah, they do.
They do. And they're fun. If you've ever made a mod, probably I would hope that some of you out there have. They're fun to work on. Okay. I've made mods for the first mod I ever helped make was a beat 'em up mod for Max Payne. Does anybody remember Max Payne?
Yep.
We're going to get a little Loki history here, a little lore. We're going to go deep into the lore. Going deep.
We're taking it deeper.
It was a punch and kick mod for Max Payne because I was so pissed that once you run out of ammo in Max Payne, you're standing there with your dick in your hand and you can't do anything. It's like, great, I've got 2 guns, one for each of you, and I can't shoot anybody. So I can't do anything. So I wanted a punch and kick mod that you could do in bullet time too. Eventually, they took that and incorporated it into the Matrix mod for Max Payne. So I was kind of cool. I was like, wow, I've got my name on this cool mod. Thank you guys so much for including me, yada, yada, yada. And then it was on to other games, eventually into the Star Trek games. And I loved it. I loved tinkering, especially with Bridge Commander. And doing things that the design team said was impossible. Oh, you would need a computer the size of a house to make a way for the Galaxy class to separate. Bitch, you know what we did? We spawned it in. We spawned the ship, the Galaxy class ship out, and we spawned in 2 new ships, a saucer ship and an engineering ship, and made it look like they were separating. We didn't need a computer the size of a house. We just needed to be inventive. And sometimes a whole nother team will think of something that you never will. Modded games help keep it alive and fresh. There are people who play A Link to the Past 30 years old and have randomizer races, and it is fun to watch them play. This bullshit is why I don't buy new games, and I do not blame you.
Nah, it's not worth it.
Do not blame you.
Not worth it.
It is constantly checking your computer. It's constantly checking your system, and you don't have the ability to do anything besides stay in their lane that you cannot draw outside of. That is fucking boring.
Good God.
Michael Gonzalez with the $5 super chat. I don't do too many multiplayer games, so I don't need to be online. What happens to these games if you simply try to play offline? The Enigma, which I was going to, let's see. Okay, so if it's offline, if you pull the plug and you can't get online, one of two things is going to happen. Either it's going to scan everything you do and keep track of everything you do, and the next time you are online, it's going to send that home to mama and tattletale on you, little tattletale box. Or it's not going to load up the game at all. Something's going to go wrong, and it's going to be like, nope, can't load up the game.
Mhm.
And if you think they won't do that, they will, because you have to constantly be connected to the internet.
Yeah. Or it could be a simple thing where you can play it in offline mode, but if you go through Steam or something like that, GOG, whatever, I don't know how GOG works. I've never used it, but it'd be one of those cases where, oh, your game needs an update. You can opt out of the update, but there's a chance, okay, well, now your game's broken. You can't play it until you update anyway.
When we say an application is cracked, it means that some data inside it has been modified so that the functionality of the program has changed. Usually it affects the executable code of the application, or it's in active memory. He didn't include that either. At least I know that. The Enigma protector encrypts and compresses the executable code and application data so that changing them without destroying the protection turns impossible. So even offline, it's not going to let you do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you do find some way to get around it, it's going to tattletale on you the next time it goes online. Or it'll update. If you break this, it'll update and change everything, and then you're back to square one. Remember when I said it will take you years to work on just one game? They can wipe that out in 5 minutes by updating the game. You'd have to stay offline constantly.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to install the game and then never go online again. And even then, that's too much of a damn hassle to mess with.
Yeah. I mean, you could turn auto updates off too, but I mean, there's still a chance things are going to run there.
We got to control the people in order to control our property.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, no, it was exactly that. Yeah. So, I mean, if you got the folks coming, I mean, some developers embrace it. Some people will embrace their modding community within certain parameters, don't get us wrong. Cause it's not like you can just play a game and then say like case in point, a couple weeks ago when Mickey Mouse became what's the phrase people used? It was free of all the legal
Steamboat
stuff.
Willie.
Yeah, Steamboat Willie. Day one, I started Skyrim mod shopping. There's Mickey Mouse mods on there already. So I mean, obviously, if that were to take place a few weeks prior, you can't do that. There has to be some sort of moderation going on there to keep track of what's being used and where and for what purpose. But when you talk about control of your property, you're grasping everything. So, I mean, in order to control your property and to keep their own sense of ownership over the IPs that they quote create, you need to control the people that are making these modifications to it to begin with. Again, some people embrace it, some people shun it and shun you in the process.
Dash Sack says, I stand with Resident Evil modding community. Hell yes. Abso-freaking-lutely. And good morning, Squeaka. How are you doing this morning? It is good to see you.
Yeah.
Drunk Waddle, what's up, brother? Forbidden Ruin is here. Public domain.
So there's pros and cons either way you look at it.
What does this mean for you, the consumer? This means that you own nothing.
We never have.
You never have.
We never have. And when I say come on over and let's play some 1943, I mean I'm going to pull the old toaster box Nintendo off the shelf and pop that cartridge in because it's the only safe way to play anything.
What else does it mean? For someone, let's say Zero got a little hot under the collar one morning and saw something that good old Trudy over there in Canada had said and was like, you know what? Why don't you take that, turn that son of a bitch sideways, shine it up real nice, and stick it straight up your candy ass? And the program didn't like that he did that.
Yeah, we've said that already.
It is actively looking for things that he says online and looking at them and goes, you know what? We don't like that he said this. And suddenly you're cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Are they doing that yet? No. Do they have the ability to do that? Yes. Imagine buying a game and installing it only for it to say, you know what? We don't like this other company that makes this game that you've got installed on your computer, so we're not going to play until you get rid of it. Oh, Loki, can they do that? They can. Have they done it yet? No, but this means they can.
But the risk,
all they have to do is scan it.
Mm-hmm.
They took away my right to play my game over a app. I had an app. It was not active. It was not running. I just have it on my computer. That means it scanned my program data, found the app that it didn't like, and said, nope, we're not going to run anymore because you have this app on your computer. And we're going to phone home and we're going to tell mama what you did. It is tattletaling on you. That is what this program does. It tattletales on you. That is what you have to look forward to. And I'm not going to buy a product from a company that has a tattletale machine installed to tattle when you do something it doesn't like. What that means is you are not playing the game the way we want you to, or you have something installed that can go around our ability to control how you play our game. So you're not going to get to play it. It's gone. We don't want you to own our game. And we're going to keep your money too. We're not going to refund you. We're going to keep your money. But Loki, how can they do that? It's in the TOS that you agreed to when you played the game. And that's how they're going to defend it.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to the point I was going to make there to summarize the whole thing. What's the moral of the story, folks? When you go to purchase a game online digitally and you're getting ready to download that sumbitch, do yourself a favor and set aside a few hours to read the entirety of those terms of services, because that is going to be your bread and butter from now on. If you just glaze over it or just do what we all did, like we always have been doing, scroll all the way down to the bottom, click I agree, accept, okay, and download that sumbitch, well, there you go. Buyer beware. Read the terms of service. I know it sucks, but if that's what door is now opening, then that's the door we have to walk through.
Because that's the legalese you're dealing with here. And they aren't just harassing me. They're harassing everyone who has paid for their product. Everyone who has paid for their product, they have a right to spy on you, to look at where you've been online, to look at what apps you own, to look at what games you play, to look at what you went and bought last week on Amazon. If you're into the more adult-oriented stuff, they have a right to look at that too. Why? Because their game is running, and while their game is running, they have complete and total control over your system. And if you say, I never gave you access to that, it's in their TOS.
Yep.
It's in the TOS.
And as much as it sucks, it's all there. Because, I mean, realistically, they're most likely legally obligated to put every fine point that's in there. And we are, while we're not legally required to read it all, it's in our best interest to do so. And that's the sad truth, that it's come down to such a thing after so many years of the same thing over and over again. It's sad that it's coming down to making sure we have the time or quit our jobs so we have the time to read their encyclopedias worth of terms of services.
Michael Gonzalez with a $10 super chat says, Zero. GOG policy is all games they sell can be downloaded and run offline without using their Galaxy interface. However, several publishers force GOG to release versions that prevent online multiplayer.
Yeah, those are, and thank you for clarifying that, Michael. Thank you. And that's the pleasure and the greed of many, many publishers that are out there nowadays. keep making that money. Oh, they can play it offline. Oh, well, let's release another version that they can't. We'll just do that. I mean, they can have their offline ones, but we want to keep attracting new customers so we can keep making the money. So we'll release another version that cannot be played offline. And they won't know the difference until it's too late. Unless they read the terms of service.
And thank you, Michael Gonzalez, for that $10 super chat, brother. You guys keep the fires burning bright here in Valhalla, and this one's just for you, brother. We're going to burn down the village this morning and Capcom offices. Skull! Memes of Destruction with a $9.99 super chat. Good morning and happy Monday, memes. If it happens on the internet, I can believe it. Hi, friends. Did anyone catch Makani on the Tuck and Roll show this weekend? He learned physics.
Physics?
Because Fizzgig. Physics. Fizzgig.
I don't know. I live in an igloo, eh?
No. Piper. Physics. Boobies.
I see the point. There it goes.
You don't watch the Cotton Connection? You don't watch the Tuck and Roll show?
I've stopped by on occasion, but it's Zero sometimes is napping at that point. So yeah, sometimes I'm up a little late. So I apologize if I'm still out of the loop.
I'm teasing you. I'm giving you hard.
It happens, man. It happens.
There's shit I don't watch. Some people are like, "Hey, Loki, did you see me do this on this and this and this the other day?" And I'm like, God. Sure thing. Did a great job, because I don't want to.
Come on.
But there's shit I miss all the time. So
how many years have you and I have been doing this back and forth, and I still say shit, and I still get the same thing from you with the what? What the hell are you talking about? So yeah.
I always did what? Drunk while Loki, this is an argument for art is defined by the medium. If art itself was created and can only be enjoyed the way it was intended, so many masterpieces would be lost. That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, right. David wouldn't have his wee still attached. You know, Venus de Milo would be covering up absolutely everything. And yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, that's going back to the whole, art versus, the general public, or are video games considered art, or is our video games an art form? Blah, 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 blah. So really, but
I had a little blue friend tell me that they are going to do their best to be there this Saturday. Apparently that little blue guy busted his arm and has need to recuperate, but they should be there this Saturday. At least that's what they are hoping. So there you go, Vic. Undead Ramen says, between invading security, anti-cheat, games as a service, not a product, zero reason bans, no offline play, and day one DLC, they make it very justifiable for going the 7 Cs.
Mm-hmm. And
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, and those are a lot of. Go ahead. I was going to say that those are a lot of words that you touched on that also turn me off for a lot of things. Like anti-cheating is one thing, that's fine. But games as a service, I hate that term with a passion. Not a product, zero reason bans, no offline play, day one DLC, which is crap that should have been in the game to begin with. And I mean, games as a service in general just annoys the absolute shit out of me, because all that sums up to me is the reason to say, release it now, fix it later. No. But I mean, that's the happy medium we all seem to be running with nowadays. And it's sad. It's very sad, but that's where we are. And that's why I've been turned off of a lot of products, a lot of new products, a lot of stuff that I should have been interested in. I used to be interested in, and I'm just not anymore for those very reasons.
So we got a $9.99 tip from Arlena that says, NWO crap going on. New World Order. You will own nothing and you will like it. Fuck them and fuck the establishment. Never bend the knee. Always resist. Skull! there's so much that I didn't even get to, where we didn't even get to talk about here. I have always, unless I own a game besides console shit,
Yeah.
unless I own a game on PC, I don't crack it. I gotta own it, and it has to be something that will not play on the current system. They don't even like that. Usually the only way they'll leave you alone about that is if it's like abandonware, like a game like Birth of the Federation or some other shit that they just don't care about anymore.
Yeah.
That they've abandoned. Some of the Chris Robert games, they just don't give a shit about anymore. So some of the work he did with EA, they really just like were like, screw off. We don't care about your shit anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm the one with 2,000 to 3,000 games on my Steam account. I'm the one who's been paying in and buying this shit for decades now. And this is the game they want to play with me. This is the game they want to play with me. I won't buy your shit.
Time to
And
play
once
the
other
game.
people figure out what you're doing, how you're invasively scanning their shit, they're not going to buy it either.
Yeah.
Once the word gets out, they're going to go, no, go buy it on console. Go buy it on something where they can't sit there and scan your hard drive and scan your internet history and scan all your shit. They aren't pulling this shit on Sony. They aren't pulling this shit on Microsoft, but they sure are pulling it for you PC users that can go in and work their magic on a game that either doesn't work or doesn't have the options it should from day one. Things that they want to sell you down the road because they're stingy ass little bitches that want to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze you. It reminds me of the Emperor on or the Harkonnen, Vladimir Harkonnen on Doom. You will squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. We're fucking tired of it.
Yeah. And it's rough. And it is rough. Yeah. But hey, games as a service. That's awesome, right? And you're right, Project Cambrian. I did briefly glaze over that a little bit, like a nicely frosted Christmas ham. Games as a service, not only is the excuse to release it, fix it later, but it's a constant source of revenue. And I don't agree with that whatsoever. Unless you're playing, say, like an MMO that's constantly releasing new updates, new material that is worth your time and financial investment. But if you're going to monetize, I did it again. What? Monetize.
Monotony.
A stingy practice of nickel and diming everyone because you don't have the balls to release a fixed product. You don't have the brains to release a fully functional product on day one or include all the content so people actually get their money's worth on day one. No, we're going to do it as a service. We're going to drip feed you content as the way we seem fit on a time period that we deem appropriate. That's what we're going to do. And when we release it, you're going to pay extra for it because that's how we are.
And one last bomb here after this super chat. Mad Cave Gaming, $5 super chat. The best part about all the cartridges I own is the game is complete. Sure, I got to blow on it sometimes, but it's worth it. Thank you, Mad Cave, so very much. We'll get you going here in just a minute. What did I leave out? What did we not get to? What did we not talk about? This company, this Enigma Protector company, the company that does this, it's a one-man show in Russia.
In Russia, PC drives you.
It's a one-man show in Russia. It has malware in it. That means that when you install these games, you are installing malware in your computer. It is completely controlled by this one guy. But Loki, what happens if this one guy goes down? You can't undo what he's done. Only he can do that. So that means that any company that trusts this shit, any company that goes with this guy, any company that makes a deal with this dude, he's the only one that can undo it and stop it. So if he wants to hold a game company hostage, and I say let him, because I'm that pissed off about all this, and I'm just like, fuck him. All the Resident Evil remakes out the door. All the Capcom classic collections shut down. All of it locked, loaded, can't ever play it because one guy said no. One guy who got to install malware on your computer and look at everything you've done, ever worked on, ever ran, ever played, who you voted for, what you watched last night, what you ate for dinner, because the motherfucker controls the camera on your computer and can watch you when he wants to. All because that one guy just disappeared or kicked the bucket. Your shit's ruined. Your shit is ruined. We're going to get out of here, guys. Make sure you go over to Makani Draws, who's coming up now. He's the other side of this block in the morning, kicking ass, taking names, taking no prisoners. But you guys stay warm. Be well. Be excellent to each other. Always speak, friend, enter. You know what, guys? Do something great today. Do something nice for your neighbor. Do something nice for your friend online. Do something that says, you know what, I'm here and I'm not going to be quiet, but I love all you guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then we have no more free demos. We have to pay for the privilege of being beta testers, aka early players. Undead Ramen, member for 16 months. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
For Undead Ramen, for the Matt Cave, this one is just for you on our way out the door. Skull!
A dollar? I've never seen a dollar. Nobody's got a dollar. Let us see the dollar. There it is. It's beautiful. Take your hat off, boy. That's a dollar bill.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Read your terms of service.
And that notification bell.